welcome back. We are within our last hour of the show. This is Weekend Express. In case you're just joining us, you're right in time for a conversation that is quite important, women in tech. We get to hear the problems, but also the opportunities that are there in this specific sector and the solutions that these women are bringing to the table. Allow me to introduce my panel this morning. Sitting closer to me, Gertrude Nyanyeshi. Gertrude is a co-founder for Tech in Pink and the lead of Facebook Developer Circles in Eldoret. And of course, on my far right, I have Purity Buriel. She's the community lead of Anita Borg. I hope I pronounced that right. And they both are software developers at Antel. It's so good to have you here with us this morning, ladies. Love.
Thank you.
Love your natural hair.
Thank you. Oh my goodness, thanks.
So, ladies, let me get to know a little bit about the projects that you do. And I'll start perhaps with you, Gertrude. Tell me a little bit about Tech in Pink. I'm also wearing pink, so I'm representing.
Yeah.
Tell me
Thank you.
Tech in Pink.
Yeah, so Tech in Pink, I co-founded it with a friend of mine. She lives in Lagos, Nigeria.
Wow.
And we started it in 2016. The whole idea behind it was because of our experiences as women in tech trying to get into technology. So we tried to, or rather we were aiming to provide a platform where women can feel supported as they're joining technology. So we were offering mentorship sessions and we're also hosting events every once in a while. The other thing that we are focusing on is representation of African women in technology. So we want to actually show the world that there are African women in technology and that they're actually technical. So we do this using tutorials and technical articles on our blog. Yeah.
Right. Tell me also about your lead, rather,
Yes.
of Facebook Developer Circles.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that. And have you met Mark Zuckerberg? I'm just curious.
No, but I'm hoping to.
One day.
Yes.
All right, tell me a little bit.
Yeah, so outside of software development, I'm really passionate about building and growing tech communities. So Facebook also gives back to the community through supporting such platforms. And so they have the initiative called Facebook Developer Circles. And the whole goal is to just, circle is the term that they use to call a community. So they have circles across the globe and they support these individual communities and the goal is to bring tech enthusiasts and developers together to learn and code together and also connect and network. So they do this by identifying people who are also passionate about that and helping and rather making them lead different circles across the globe. So I was selected to lead Developer Circles Eldoret and I'm working on growing the community. And also because I'm a woman, of course, we are targeting on increasing the number of women in technology. So that's something that I highly consider. But the entire goal is just to bring together tech enthusiasts and people in different fields of the tech ecosystem together to learn and collaborate together.
Beautiful. All right, Purity, let me hear a little bit about Anita Borg.
All right, so Anita Borg is an organization that was founded a long time ago by Anita Borg. Anita Borg was one of the programmers, one of the first programmers we had, and
Ever.
Okay, yeah, ever. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And so what this organization does is that we would want the world to reflect the products that we build to reflect the societies we build them for.
Right.
So what Anita Borg does is that we partner with different companies where women are employed in, and we also partner with different women and also the academic institutions that train women in general universities and all these other places to ensure that women in tech will not be something that's not a matter of 50-50, the fact that we are not able to get the same
representation. Right.
Yeah.
All right, so ladies, I think what you're doing is fantastic, but I really am curious to hear your personal stories about how it was for you entering into the tech ecosystem, as you had put it. So Gertrude, for you, especially now that it was the birth of your specific company, tell me about how that experience, that journey was for you when you were trying to get into this market.
So I grew up, I think I had a fairly positive experience in a sense, because growing up I was exposed to gadgets and I used to game a lot, so I already had the idea that I could, you know, work with these gadgets and I could get into the field of technology.
Right.
So the challenge just began when I joined university, and that's when I noticed we are actually few in the class. You know, when you're younger, all of you are performing very well in maths and science, but then when you grow older, you start hearing that this field is actually not for you. You should consider something that's much more easier or much more and creative, something like that. So we were few in my class, and that's when I started noticing that there's actually a problem. And I remember after clearing university, I wanted to get into social media and not really pursue my passion of software development. But then Andela came along, and I felt like this would be a good platform for me to actually pursue my passion, or rather my interest. And I got in, and Andela is very supportive. The environment is very friendly for women in technology. So I've had a really good support system working at Andela, and everything has been good.
But not every lady has that.
Exactly, not every lady has that. So I see people struggling. I also did struggle with, you know, imposter syndrome. And, you know, long enough, if you hear that it's something that's not meant to be for you, that you're a woman, you're not meant to work in this field. I had this particular experience where we used to put up cables in companies, because I also did some networking, and I would wear overalls, and I was the only woman with two other men. So whenever we'd get into a bank and they would see me in the overall and I'm the one climbing up, they'd be like, is it something, you know, I'd get stares, and people would look at me weirdly as if I'm not meant to be doing this. So when you get such like reactions, you begin to wonder, am I really supposed to be here? So you feel like it's not really friendly for you. And that was the whole idea behind Tech in Pink, because there are women who probably are trying to code, and men are telling them, you know, I don't think you really understand what you're doing. So, and they end up not feeling supported.
And that is happening in 2018?
Yes, it actually is happening.
Wow. So. Purity, tell me about your experience.
All right, so I got interested in computing when I was in high school, and I started doing the computer elective. And so at the time, it was really exciting. I didn't know about the fact that there was this whole diversity thing, and the fact that women were underrepresented in tech. At the time, it was just a passion I had, and I was in a girls' school, so that was okay. And I pursued computer. After finishing that, I went on to do BBIT in school. I was in a class of around 58 people, and there were only 4 girls. And of the 4 girls, I think only 2 were interested in programming, and we were doing an IT course. So up to that point, people would tell me that networking is more for women and programming is not for women. And for a long time throughout my whole campus experience, generally people would tell you that, no, I don't think women should be coding and stuff like that. People outrightly say things like that. And even though it's not supposed to affect you, these things end up...
and what reason do they give when they say that coding is not for girls?
Usually it's not very proper reasons. It's usually like men have been coding for such a long time.
Exactly.
How come there's not many women who are founding companies that are in technology? How many women have developed apps and all these things? So like it becomes like a whole thing. Yeah.
Tell me about perhaps some of the, and we're going to come to the opportunities within the industry, because I do believe they're there. But do you feel as if women in tech support fellow women?
Yes, I think so.
You believe so?
So I'll give an example of Anita Bog. And so one of the things that happened is that during when they founded the Sisters Community, it's called the Sisters Community, there were only 12 women at the time. And they were tired of going to conferences where women were not represented and they were the only woman in the room constantly. And so they ended up founding an conference called the Grace Hopper Celebration, which is the largest convention of women in computing in the world. And every year we have more women joining, and we have more women creating groups like the Lean-In Circles. Like there's so many organizations, Women Techmakers, Akira Chicks here in Nairobi, Tech in Pink, and like I feel like women are generally supporting other women in tech.
And is there a space for women, especially, I love what you said, what Tech in Pink does, it brings African women in tech. Is there that space for African women in technology?
Definitely. I mean, like anything that's founded by an African woman for women is definitely a safe space for African women in technology. And we always have, you know, the annual conferences for African women in technology where they come together to like empower each other and to inspire the young women who are trying to get into technology, where they can meet people who have already been in the industry for quite a while. And I think that kind of knowledge and interaction is actually very beneficial to us as African women in technology. So yeah, I do believe there is a safe space.
Paint for me an idea of perhaps the opportunities that are there within the tech ecosystem for women.
For women,
yes.
Do you want to talk about anything more?
Purity?
Again, I will speak on Anita Vogue. One of the things that we have is an online community, and I would encourage any woman who would be interested in technology or pursuing a career in technology to join our online community at anitab.org. And we have like an online database, and people put their resumes, and companies are able to also identify them from places like this. Another opportunity would be Andela, which is where we work, and we have like a lot of opportunities for women in tech, and we have a lot of opportunities at other places. Like a lot of places are starting to change how they think about hiring. And
are men changing also how they think about women in tech?
If you involve them in the conversation, yes, they actually are. And I know we normally have like women-only events where we come together to speak about our challenges and our problems. And initially you'd hear this is a women's-only event, but for the past 2 years you'd hear it's geared towards women, but it's open to everyone, so that we can bring in the men, and they can contribute to the conversation, because it would be counterproductive if you're not involved. There's nothing that would change.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's take a quick commercial break here on Weekend Express. When we'll come back, we'll get conclusion remarks from the ladies who are quite fundamental within the tech system here in Kenya. We'll be right back.